Do you think you can recall a game that spoke directly to you? Does the simple thought of that happening sort of weird you out a little bit? There's a PC game called Black and White 2 that takes breaking the fourth wall to a whole new terrifying level. Also, for those that may not know, I will remind you of what the fourth wall even is. The fourth wall is a theater term. It is the imaginary wall that separates the actors from the audience, or really in this case, it would obviously be separating the player from the game's characters. Now, breaking the fourth wall would be what happens when the characters talk to the audience directly. It sounds a bit surreal. That's because it is, really. A game speaking to the player instead of the actual character is what causes that invisible wall to crumble. Communicating with the player directly seems to be for a comedic reason most of the time. Like in Pokemon Yellow, this trainer tip sign here tells you not to throw your game. In Call of Duty Zombies, you may have heard Tank Dempsey, one of the main characters, shout at you directly saying that you need to drop the chips and find him some ammunition.
Hey, player! Drop the chips and get me some ammo!
There are other times where a game will purposely take things a bit too far solely to creep you out. We all know how effective that can be. Like in Doki Doki Literature Club, where you're held responsible for the sanity of 4 girls. Or in Metal Gear Solid, when you fight Psycho Mantis and he tells you all the games that you've been playing.
You enjoy role-playing games.
Because of this, I like to think that I mainly see 2 different types of fourth wall breakage. One type being comedic and the other being creepy. Another creepy example would be a freaky little Easter egg in Black and White 2 that has scared gamers for years. Being released in 2005, you'd think it would be outdated, but the game is an underrated classic. It still has a loyal fan base and many active players. Some call it a strategic God game. That's because you play in God mode, of course. You're God. Many players found themselves putting lots of hours into the game because it's a ton of fun. And if a player were to be playing deep into the night, they'd be in for a little surprise. I wouldn't be shocked if you knew what it was, because this game is getting rather old after all. When one of your villagers die, you will hear a creepy voice whisper the word death. Now, if you happen to be playing at night, some players have said 10 p.m., some people have said after midnight, the game will actually search through your computer files to find your name and whisper that instead.
James, John, Peter, Pete, Matthew, Mark, Simon, Paul, Timothy, Tim, Jamie, Will, William, Oliver, Ollie, Richard, Rich, Ben.
Some people said they thought they were going crazy, thinking, there's no way the game just whispered my name, this can't be real. It is the middle of the night after all. I mean, you've been staying up very late playing this game. Who knows what you heard? And that led many curious people like myself to look it up, seeking refuge in message boards to see if others have experienced the same thing. This will only work if your name is one of the files listed in this folder. So if you have a pretty common name, chances are you're in there. Lucky you. I'm very surprised that there is still very little information regarding this secret, even with the game being out for about 14 years now. I would assume some programmers put this Easter egg in the game to switch up the classic death whisper, and to prank unsuspecting players, of course. They probably got a kick out of it. I can't find that much information about this, especially now that when I search Black and White 2, the results are the new Pokemon games.
Janet.